Let's get started. Welcome to this webinar on DOTEBase. We are happy to introduce DOTEBase and make qualitative analysis fun again. This is a free webinar where we will introduce the basic functions of DOTEBase. Also, we want to highlight that we are at the moment running an intro offer, 25% discount on our Pro and Community Pro license edition until the 1st of October. But let's get started. This webinar will present a brief introduction to DOTEBase. We will share some basic info. Then we will discuss and present the concepts behind DOTEBase, and then the main course will be a demonstration of the core features of DOTEBase, and then there's plenty of time for a Q&A session. Also, we want to make sure that you use the chat. If you have any questions that pop up during our presentation, then we will respond to that afterwards. Good. So just to let you know, this is the DOTE Dream Team. Paul, Alex, and I are here tonight to present DOTEBase, and we are also the main designers and developers of DOTEBase. So if you are really meeting the core people of DOTEBase. There's a lot of different info sites about DOTEBase. You can visit our web shop at doteau.dk. We have an online help guide both for DOTE and for DOTEBase. Here you see the DOTEBase version. We have a YouTube channel with lots of video tutorials covering the most basic features of DOTEBase and DOTE. We have a Discord server for support and also for discussions with other DOTEBase and DOTE users, and then we have our GitHub repository. As a new thing, we have also integrated site licenses. So if you are a university, an institution, or a group of researchers, we offer now a site license. This site license is a one-year contract where you enjoy the full package of DOTE and DOTEBase in one. And it's a matter of purchasing at least 10 licenses, then you get a pretty nice discount. Of course, you also get the intro offer now, but this is worth mentioning for larger groups, and if you don't know who will be using the licenses at the moment. So this is really offering a lot of flexibility for a larger group of researchers. And if you can persuade your university or institution to purchase a couple of hundred licenses, we are of course also eager to hear about that, and we will find a solution for that at some point. Good. DOTEBase and DOTE is used by a lot of different researchers around the world. So here is a not completely updated map, but we have DOTELorians all over the world. China joined the group the other day, so there's really a good variety in user group members from all around the world. So I will leave the word to Paul for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, so greetings to everyone. We'll be switching between Jakob and I in going through some different aspects and doing the demo and then with the Q&A. So just some concepts behind DOTEBase and also DOTE, because you may not be totally familiar with DOTE either, which was the first software package we developed. But there's some important things to understand about how DOTE works, how you create a project in DOTE, and then you create transcripts for each project, which each project is associated with one or more media files for one event in the world, just a continuous stream of video or audio, and you might have multiple cameras, multiple microphones. Then you make a project for each one of those. And then that then is the basis for what DOTEBase looks for, and how it starts to assemble what we call a DOTE space. So DOTEBase is reliant on DOTE to create both a project with media in it maybe with no transcripts, or with projects with transcripts in them. You don't have to have transcripts at first. You can work with just the media files, but they have to be created in DOTE first. That means that we have common metadata. We know what the files are. Everything's in order so that DOTEBase can work successfully. So just trying to get, there we are, control. So what DOTEBase is and what it isn't, just to understand what the differences are. You might have certain expectations, and we need to make clear that DOTEBase isn't a perfect solution for everybody, but it is a really perfect solution for most people. But if you want to have, for example, AI do all the analysis for you, then we're not offering an AI solution. So what we ask is a tool to support qualitative analysis. It's something Jakob and I are both researchers. We published a lot in a range of different fields, especially in analysis of social interaction, and especially using complex video settings, environments. Then we want this tool to support our research. So that's why we've developed it with our developer, two developers currently. For the last 2 years, our developer Alex has done a brilliant job finishing off DOTE and now developing DOTEBase. So qualitative analysis, well, it's not quantitative analysis. And it's really, we want a tool that takes a flexible, assembled spaces, and they can be distributed across a range of different places on your computer, on your file system. And you can assemble those in new configurations for different projects. We're not a database where everything is stored in one place. We're not a cloud service, for example. Everything is locally on your computer, and therefore you can treat that with security, like for GDPR within the European Union, then data protection. That's something you can deal with. Encryption, for example. Nothing is uploaded anywhere. Nothing is in the public domain. And it's a tool that supports commenting on clips of media and transcripts both. So you can work without transcripts at first and just start annotating your media files, noting the interesting things, and then move on to transcribing later. Or you can just start transcribing and then work straight with transcripts, as you'll see. And it's a tool that we hope is transparent. Most of the data is stored in plain text on your computer. It's not hidden in some database in binary form. It's non-proprietary, meaning we don't hide it in some format that nobody else can decrypt. It's only we can. Everything is transparent, which means it's usually recoverable if something does go wrong. So just to remind you there, it's not for quantitative analysis. We're not doing statistical analysis. There are other tools for that. It's not a closed database, meaning it's something that's closed inside of some database system which you can't access. It's not a web tool. There's no connection to the web or a browser. It's not a cloud-based tool, so things are not uploaded to the cloud. And it doesn't use AI, so it's not a miracle tool. You can use AI. We support a certain use of AI for speech recognition within DOTE, but not within DOTEBase for doing any analysis. We don't think that's a useful tool. And there is research just lately showing, even for quantitative analysis, that AI is not useful at all. There was a paper published just the other day about that for corpus discourse analysis, for example. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. If it's not, then you could put a question in the chat if something's not clear about the difference between what DOTEBase is and what it isn't. So moving on, let's talk about clipping, just giving you some idea of how DOTE works and how DOTEBase works also and adds to that. And clipping is a way of thinking that, for example, if you have a DOTE and you have some active media and you've made a nice project, and in that you've made a transcript, maybe 2 transcripts, different versions of a transcript, maybe in Jeffersonian conventions and one in Mundaden, or in your own conventions, or you've made different versions for different phenomena. So that makes up a project. And so you have a timeline with a waveform for your media, and then you have a transcript. And this is a typical DOTE transcript, which we'll see in a moment inside DOTE. And it might be you want to make little clips on the media, on the timeline, saying that from this point to that point, from time X to time Y, we want to make a little clip and make some notes and have some tags about that. And then another one a bit later, another one a bit later. And they can be overlapping, they can be embedded. You can make hundreds, thousands of these clips on any of your media files. And those you can search over, you can sort, you can collect into collections of, say, a particular phenomena. And that's maybe even before you started transcribing. And then you can do that for your transcripts. If you start making transcripts, you can say, I want these lines here, or this character to this character. I want to make some notes about that. And then you can make that all the way through, and they can be overlapping and they can be embedded, and you can have thousands of clips on your transcripts. So it's a bit like with Word or with Google Docs, you can make comments. In this case, you can also make it actually on the media files themselves. So two different types of clips, media clips and transcript clips. And that's what DOTEBase supports. DOTE allows you to make transcript clips, but not media clips. Those have to be done in DOTEBase. And if you make them in DOTE, the transcript clips, then they are visible at the same time in DOTEBase, and you can move between them. But there are more sophisticated tools in DOTEBase for working with transcripts, which are not available in DOTE. But you can get started in DOTE and then go to DOTEBase, and then they'll all be there, and then you can start working with them in more sophisticated ways. So remember, DOTE has your projects and transcripts in DOTE are stored on your file system. DOTEBase looks for those, you tell it where to look, and then it assembles those into what we call a DOTE space, all those projects and transcripts. So you might have been using DOTE so far, and you've made some projects and you have some transcripts. Now DOTEBase allows you to, if they're all in certain locations on your file system, on your computer, you can say, look there for anything you find and make that a DOTE space, which includes all the DOTE projects and transcripts, wherever you've told it to look. So just looking at that now, if you have your media and transcripts on your hard drive, or you have them on a mapped network folder, or you have them on an external drive, the mapped network folder might be, for example, secure in your university computer system. We don't recommend Dropbox and other cloud services because of all sorts of issues that happen with those, as well as security issues. But if you have on your hard drive or a mapped network folder or external drive, then a DOTE space says, well, look in these places. Here's just an example on my hard drive, and look in on my mapped network folder, which I've given the letter V here in Windows. You can call it V. And here on my external drive, I have some other projects. And you could say all the projects and transcripts you find in these places, put that in one DOTE space. Okay. And so those are called, oops, it's called watch folders. I think that was a strange issue there. It did something a little strange, maybe to do with my control of Jakob's presentation from a distance. So if you have here DOTE project 1, which is a media file or more than one, and a transcript or another more than one transcript, and then you have another project where you've got some other data where you've transcribed and you have a media file, and then you have a third one, then what you can do in your DOTE space 1 is you say, I want to have everything in this place where I happen to have DOTE project 1. I might have other projects there as well, but let's just say it has only DOTE project 1. DOTE project 2 is somewhere else, and DOTE project 3 is somewhere else. Could be on an external drive. And so that's your watch folder, and it will find all the projects in that watch folder. DOTE space 2 could say, you want to look in the same place as well. So they share that project or whatever projects are found there. So DOTE spaces can reuse projects from anywhere. As long as they're in the same location, then you can reuse them for different aims, different research projects. So that's your second example. But DOTE space 3 could say, I only want to look wherever this one is, DOTE project 2. And if I find the transcript there and the media files there, those are separate completely from DOTE project 1, and there's nothing in common. And that becomes your third DOTE space. Whereas DOTE project 3 down here, this one is on its own, is not in any watch folder, and so is not seen by DOTEBase. DOTEBase doesn't recognize it because it's not included in any of the places it's looking. So that means you can just work away on your DOTE projects, making your media files and making your transcripts. And if you put them in the same folder, then they'll all be found later by DOTEBase. But if you put them in different places, you can still tell DOTEBase to find them all. But it might be that you want to keep them separate because you don't want contamination between certain types of data you're working on and other types. So you can keep things separate. So hopefully that helps you understand that DOTE is where you work on your transcripts and you create a project with transcripts in it. And then DOTEBase goes and finds all of those and allows you to do much more sophisticated things across all those projects. So DOTE is at the local level. DOTEBase sort of sits above and manages all of your data. It's like a data management tool, which allows you to do qualitative research better. And that's what we want to try and demo for you now. And what I'm going to do for the demo is I'm going to switch to showing you DOTE and DOTEBase and say some things about some of the basic features, and then Jakob will take over after that. So I don't know if you can, yeah, that's it. Then I can share my screen. Okay, now you should see DOTE. And hopefully the font is large enough. I've enlarged it. And here you should be able to see I have a cursor. So it allows you to track where I am. And you'll also see down at the bottom here that if I press the keyboard, then things will appear here to show you which keys I'm pressing. So this is a typical DOTE layout. If I get rid of some of these things, the video cues, secondary video, then you can see the basic DOTE window has the video. If you have a video, it has a waveform. You could have an audio file, and then you'd have no video window here, but it always has a timeline with a waveform. And there's a transcript window or panel here. I can have secondary videos. So for example, here's showing a second video, and I can also have video cues, but we're not going to go into those features today. You can find those in other webinars for DOTE and video tutorials on YouTube for DOTE. So what we find that's new, and I can make it disappear for the moment, this is how DOTE looked before the new version came out in June to accompany DOTEBase. And there was no means to really annotate except to use these double slash marks here. You can see there's a double slash. These double slashes are what we call technical comments. You can add them anywhere and they're ignored. They're not part of the transcript and they can be removed as well easily. But if I click this, you'll see actually we have a number of annotations in DOTE. You can annotate your transcripts. And if I hover over them, you'll see information comes up telling me tags or notes that I might have. And if I click on it, you can see it opens up the transcript clip. So that's the new feature, which allows you to add tags. You can see I've got 2 tags here. I've got some written annotation, which I can expand here and write as much as I want. I've got some styling, which is a color for a highlight. This is the color. If I click on a color, you'll see we get a swatch manager, which manages colors, and you can have presets. So you've got a quite sophisticated color coding schemes you can develop, and those can be shared across your DOTE space or kept local to your project. In this case, in DOTE, you can't share across a DOTE space because we're not in DOTEBase, but you'll see we can do that once we get to DOTEBase. You can have a background color for some of the styles. If I open here, you'll see we can have underline, box, circle, highlight, strike through, crossed off, bracket. You can have all sorts of different styles. And we can also have, as you see here, some extra user-defined fields. I can give it a name and a value, which is what I've done here. Name is reserved for certain functions, as you'll see. but I can give any number of names and values. So I can define my own fields. And that can be created such that you can see we have a box which has a border, we have a highlight, we have circles down here, and these red brackets here give you some idea of the scope of the comment. Right? Where does it sort of start and where does it end? But you can sort of tell by the color as well. It gives you just a sort of a clue, and it's almost handwritten. And you see if I go down, you see we have some orange and black, and all I simply chose was, as you can see, it has a tag color and it's a note orange. If I go in, you'll see it has a name orange as well. And there's orange for the text. So that's for all the times that an orange block is mentioned in this Lego game that they're playing. And every time a black one, then I use black and the color black for the color. And you can see if I open this and I click on this, you'll see it's called orange. It has a name. It's one of the presets. So I can always choose that orange color here because you have a million, more than a million colors here available. You can adjust transparency and choose the color and choose the shade and the brightness, etc. Then I can give it a name and I can always get that color back again. So it's giving you an idea of transcripts and the type of transcript clips you can create, which you can hide, of course, here, just as you can choose whether you want to see other features as well. That's DOTE, and that's where you would work up some media. If you go to Project Manager, if you go to Media Manager, then you'll see I have all these video files, which are all of the same event, different cameras in the room recording the same time. They're all identical length and start at the same time in terms of the event. And all of those I can work with here in my video. And then I can start working on my transcript. I can also, if I go to Project Manager, this is Lego Project 1 here. I can also open up a different transcript of the same. This is the Mondaden transcript here. And you see this one only has one annotation. So this is a much more sophisticated transcription system, if you know this, called a Mondaden conventions involving for multimodal transcription. These are the transcripts available for that project. And there are other projects here which have other transcripts. And I've just gone back to this one. Now, if I switch to DOTEBase, you see this is the DOTEBase layout. It's a lot more sophisticated. There's a lot more panels that you can use. And the UI is quite sophisticated. You can move things around, change things, which is we're currently working on for DOTE to make it the same. Then we see the same transcript here, if I go back, as we had here. This is identical, and all that DOTEBase is doing, it has a DOTE space with a watch folder, and that watch folder is exactly where DOTE is working here. So all that DOTEBase does is find everything in that watch folder, and it turns out it finds 3 projects and 6 transcripts. There are actually 6 transcripts here. Don't worry about the other. These are other DOTE spaces. This is the one we're focusing on. This is its watch folder, and these is what it finds. Notice one of them is red. That's because it's currently open in DOTE. So you can't edit or do things here while it's currently open in DOTE at the same time, because that would cause a clash. That's why this one's in red. And if you open a different one, then it will change to show, no, you can't open that one. You can't work on that one. So this is identical. I go down, you'll see we have the transcript. But now I notice with the timeline here, and the video is the same, but we now have this media clips organizer. And that's something that Jakob's going to say something about in a moment. So DOTEBase, you've got the key thing is to see as it integrates completely with DOTE and it relies on DOTE. So you can't just put video files into DOTEBase and expect it to know what they are. They have to be created in DOTE as a project with some media files. And then you can have a transcript or not. You might see up here, I have Lego demo. This is in another place, but there are no transcripts. And if I open this one here, you'll see there's no media clips and there's no transcripts. And if I open that, you'll see it just has the metadata. So this one is just the metadata. There's no transcript made yet. There's no media clips. This is a brand new project started. I could start making media clips anywhere I want here, which is something that Jakob will talk about, and the media clips organizer, and I can start transcribing in DOTE. I can't transcribe here. I can start transcribing in DOTE, and then it will be found and picked up here. So transcript clips, you can do those in DOTE. You can do it in DOTEBase. And media clips is something you can only do in DOTEBase, and I'll hand over to Jakob to explain about media clips and the clips organizer.
Yes. Good. So I'll be taking you through a couple of the panels, and the first one we will be talking about is the media clips organizer. And as Paul mentioned, you can customize your layouts in DOTEBase. So if you click layout in the top here, you can use one of our predefined layouts. And for this purpose, I'm using the media clip layout, media clipping layout. So inspired by score-based transcriptions, we have also developed and integrated a score-based module panel in DOTEBase. And this is the current look of that. And you can see you have a number of different tiers down here. You can add as many tiers as you want to, and we can also rename them and delete them if we want to do that. So in each tier, you will find media clips. So in DOTEBase, we have two different types of clips. We have our transcript clips, as Paul showed, and then we have our media clips. And the media clips, they are only linked to a certain amount of time. So we have an in point and an end point, and that is basically a media clip. And you can add different types of information to media clips when you add them, and you can also edit that at a later point. So basically, we could try and do a new clip. So perhaps something interesting is going on in this part of the video, and then I hold down Shift, and then I make a selection. This is the same as we do in DOTE. And then I hit new clip, and then I'm first I could like add a predefined, and we have a preset that I could add, but I can also add a completely new tag. So it could be test, very innovative, and then I could add a number of different other tags, and I could add a description here, testing. And then I can do all the background things, so I can change that as well, or also I can just put it in the tier and then it will inherit that tier. Also, we can add user-defined fields and so on. So when you create a media clip, you also have the possibility to add it to an already existing tier. So I could add it to one of the 4 tiers that we have here, or I could add on a new tier. So for now, we will just put it on an already existing tier, and then create it, and then we have the test clip right here. For improving the usability of the media clips organizer, we have a few features up here. At the moment, you can see that I cannot do anything with the media clips we have here. And you can see when I click on the media clip, it's also highlighted in the waveform panel. But if I unlock it here, now I'm able to do different things with the clip. I can grab it if I select one of the tools over here. This one is for moving around and finding a position. I can also extend or minimize the length of the clip. So this is for repositioning it on a horizontal level. If I want to do it on a vertical level, you can now see that a small icon pops up here when I enable this one. So now I can move this media clip to another tier. So if I was not happy about the position of that specific media clip, I can move it to a different tier. And you can also see that you can actually have like overlapping media clips. So now we have both test and blocks. They are in the same kind of the same spot. So whenever we put them into the same tier, they will be stacked on top of each other. So we will just put that back. Also, we can decide if we want to show the tags or the user-defined fields. So there's really a lot of customizability in terms of using the media clips organizer. Also, you have the possibility using this cogwheel to delete tiers, change the color of a tier, and we can also add new ones and so on. So there's a lot of options regarding the tiers and the media clips organizer in DOTEBase. So this is really an easy way of getting some basic things done with your data. You can go through the data and make media clips to get things started. The next thing I want to show you is the collections. So now I will move to another view. I have also created a favorite, so you can also do that to create your own views. And this is my view for looking at collections. So you have a collections browser, and you see in the Lego demo project we have this Lego demo collections. And if I expand on this, then I can see that we have a number of different collections here. We have our counting, and when I click that, you can also see that all the clips associated with the counting collection is actually present here, and then I can view that when I click on the eye icon here. So that is linked directly to the clip that I've made previously. You can also see that this collection here is not containing any media clips. It's only transcript clips. But if I go to this one, you will see down here that we both have this light blue clips, and then we have the yellow ones. And the light blue ones, they are all media clips. So that when I click the eye icon, it will jump directly to the position in the video, and I will see it also highlighted on the timeline. Also, you can remove unlinked clips if there's some clips that are no longer associated with the project. You can rename a collection, you can delete it, or you can create a new collection. So one option here is also, I will just do a test collection, and then you see the test collection appearing here. And then if I go to my DOTE space and the browser over here, then I select one of the DOTE spaces here, then I can grab one of the clips. So this is the clips that I've already made. It is both transcript clips and as media clips. And now I can easily just drag that clip and put it into my test. So you see now it updated, and I can put in a transcript clip as well. Oh, sorry. And now it updated that as well. So it's really possible to use these collections as a nice way of managing and organizing your data in a very flexible way. The final thing that I want to show you is the tag manager we have developed, and I will also use one of my predefined layouts here. So we have a tag manager. So you see that we added tags, both Paul and I. Paul added tags to the transcript clips, and I added tags to the media clips. And now we can all browse through all the tags that we have created using the tag manager, which is a really nice and powerful tool. I can see all the tags, all the clips that are associated with T1. We have 12 different clips that are associated with that. I can also view these clips. So if I click here, I will jump directly to that. So it's an easy way to navigate in your data, to search through clips across your entire DOTE space. Also, you can view across all your DOTE spaces. So it's really a possibility also to work across different projects. And there's also a possibility if you like have created two tags. It could be I don't know, test 1 and test 2, and you wanted to merge these into the same. Then you actually have the possibility to merge a block of tags into the same tag collection. So that's really nice way of creating and managing your tags. So this is a nice way of tagging your data. You have the collections, you have your tag manager for easily navigating and organizing your data. And now we will show you a very innovative feature of DOTEBase, our Canvas tool, and I will shift back to Paul. Oh, you're muted, Paul.
Sorry, here we are back in DOTEBase, where I was before, and Jakob had shown you about the media clip organizer and how to make media clips, and also the tag manager. Now we're going to look at the canvas, which is more of a visual tool for visualizing your data. This is a DOTE space, and all of these projects and transcripts, all the clips that have been made, and you can see there are 9 media clips here. And if I go in, you'll see there's all these transcript clips have been made. You can view them all here, and you can see them here for a particular project and a transcript. Then if I open the canvas, and there is a canvas associated with each DOTE space, and you'll see here, you might not be able to read anything yet because this is showing you at a macro level all of the annotations that have been made, all the clips and all of the texts and boxes for the whole canvas for this DOTE space. But I can zoom in and out, so I can zoom in and I can drag around and see this one here is flow of selected sequential activity between table 1 and table 2. And it turns out when it starts, and then when P2 visits table 2, if you know the Lego demo data, there's somebody running from one end of the room to the other, hidden behind a screen to look at a Lego block, and then they run back. This is mapping out all the clips, both transcript clips and media clips, with particular phenomena of interest. For example, she swears a lot here. She's swearing, and she's swearing here. She swears over here when she comes back, but she swears a lot on her own when she's with self-talk when she's at the table on her own trying to figure things out, because she keeps getting it wrong, it turns out. She doesn't quite remember when she comes back to the main table 1 what she actually saw. And so these are just representations of clips. And over here, you can see I could just move over and zoom in on this one. These are representations of clips, but now arranged by color block mentions. So I've created these boxes and then added all these different clips, which are all about the color. These are all the color black with different black blocks. And when she talks about them, you can see it's mainly orange and black with a little bit of yellow, and then occasionally a brown or a flower-shaped block or a block with a hole. Trying to describe, these are the descriptions she uses when she comes back to the table with the others in her group. So it's just a different way of collecting together. This one is according to some object within the world that's being referred to, and then this is according to temporal flow, according to a spatial location in the room. And I could do any number of others. If I zoom right out, you can see I have an infinite space on my canvas to organize different representations and then move between them. If I get lost, then I can just click over here and I can jump back to a general view and I can zoom in here. Or I can use a scroll wheel to do that. And all I can do, if I, for example, over here, you can see I might want this one here, I might want on it. And if I just drag it and drop it, then it appears here. And then I can, for example, if I zoom in a bit here so you can see it better, you see it's got little dots around it when I click on it. If I drag that, I can drag to somewhere else and create a connection between them. And then I can, you can see here an arrow rectangle. For this, I can change the icon or the default icon. It's a chat icon I've chosen here. If I click on this, then I can change all our sorts of aspects of the line and the end markings and the colors. And this is an animated dotted line. So I can do many, many things. If I right click on it now, and I can delete it as well. So I should have deleted it there. Just try it again. Well, should have deleted there. Those are the different types of objects and connectors between things that you can create, as well as adding. If I right click, I can add different types of nodes, group node or notes node or a label node. I can also download everything here as an image. So I can make this a nice PNG or JPEG image and then put that into a presentation or crop it to just the bits that I want. So this is not just isolated to DOTEBase, you can export it. So that's just some of the things. If I go back to DOTEBase, you'll see here, when I click on any one of these, for example, here, I can send to Canvas. If I say I want to send this one to Canvas, when I go back here, you'll notice down here is the clip sent from DOTEBase. I can just drag and drop it on here. So you can very quickly go from a clip that you're working with or a transcript clip. If I click on that, you'll see send clip to Canvas. I've sent that. There it is. I can drag that one too, which is a transcript, the orange color. So those were straight from working on this particular transcript and this particular project with the media file. I can work straight from there, or I can do some searching here and filtering to find the clip. There's a list of all possible clips that I could add in this DOTE space here. You'll see if I go down, it's a long list of clips that I could add. All of them, everything is addable within a DOTE space onto the canvas. And you can obviously use the full range of the space that you have available. The last thing to say, if I go to a different layout, would be searching. This is a searching layout. And here you can see we're in the Lego demo DOTE space. It's just focusing on searching. I can add a search term and I can say I want to search in transcripts. Let's say for yes, for example. If I search, oh, sorry, I should have said yes, and a tab or a return to enter it as a proper search item. And that will give me all occasions in either transcripts or media clips that we find yes. It turns out they're all in the transcript. But they're in the English translation as well as in the Danish, because sometimes that in the Danish they say yes and yeah, they repeat an English word as well. So it's across both. We might only want to see those in, say, translation lines, not in the speaker line. So I can say only show me that in the speaker line, and then we'll see all of the English translation lines, sorry, all of the English use of yes, not in the Danish use of yes. We could equally do it the other way around. So I could search for every time they might use yes in Danish, and they use it a few times. Okay, so there's a lot of possibilities for restricting your search, but you can also do characters to ignore. You can say, ignore all these characters that you might find in a transcript, which are not lexical items. There are things to do with marking overlaps or pausing or speeding up. You could say, ignore those and show me every use of yes, even though there might be some characters inside the yes. And if I search now, then you'll find we've got yes, 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 yes. But now we've got yes with a colon. Okay, and there could be yeses with an angle bracket, because that's an overlap, starts in the middle of the word being uttered. Yes, there's an overlap, and it would find those as well. Or maybe there's something else going on, some other special symbol there that could be a speeding up with an angle bracket, or an equal sign for a latching. Then you can see you can now find, you can say search for these, and you can add your own string as well, and it will give you all permutations. So that means you can find examples of lexical items even if they are corrupted by some symbols in between. If you add them to the list here, they'll be ignored. And there's also multiple searches. You can add criteria. You can have searching for something and something else, something or something else. And you can search across not only transcript. If I add a new search term, you can see, just to show it there, I can search for tags and annotations and user-defined fields. So I can search for something in a transcript and then search for a tag in the clip that might occur. So a lot of possibilities with search, but I think we're going to have to finish there to leave roughly 15 minutes for Q&A, where you can ask us any questions you want. I'll hand back to Jakob to chair that, and we can bring up DOTE and DOTEBase to illustrate things according to your question. Over to you, Jakob.
Yes, thank you, Paul. I was unmuted or muted. Thank you. And now it's time for the Q&A session. So please, if you have any questions, use chat or just turn on your microphone. Then we will happily address any questions. Or comments, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a question.
Is someone there? It can be just you're just puzzled about how you could get started, or you have a particular type of task you want to do and you're wondering if DOTE and DOTEBase can help you with that. Music notes, well, it would depend. If the music is in an audio file, then you can just import the audio file and treat that as just a stream of audio. It would have a waveform, and then you can add notes using the media clips. It doesn't have to be verbal speech. So you can use this. In fact, you could use this for film studies too. If you have a video which has dialogue and has shots, you can create annotations for that too. So it actually is a multi-purpose tool, which we developed for qualitative analysis of social interaction. But I don't see why it can't be used for video. Yeah, DOTEBase 360. Do you want to illustrate that, Jakob?
Sorry, just one more thing about the music notes, as I think someone else mentioned in transcripts, actually putting in music note emojis. And yeah, you could absolutely use any kind of emoji you want in a transcript, and there are a number of music note symbols that you could put into your transcript is required, if that was part of the question.
Is that what you meant, Helena? That just simply having a musical note, like semiquaver, quaver.
You're unmuted, but I don't hear you.
Yeah, we don't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. No, I tried to do it in DOTE, and I can do them through emojis, but when I print it, it doesn't come out in the print, in the transcription.
Yes, this question. This was when it was at the end of a line, was it not, on the RTF export?
Yeah, because I had a transcript like surrounding a sentence. I started with it and I ended with it.
I'm pretty sure I fixed that in the last release, actually, but I think we spoke about this over email or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we fixed that in the release. It was only notes that was on the end of a line, and that should be fixed now.
Yeah, good. And I'll look at it again.
If you download the latest version 1.1.2.
Yeah, we did it last week.
Okay. If it's still doing it, then contact us again.
Yeah, let me know. Yeah. I think in the older version, you're able to get around that by adding a space at the end of a line, but it should be fixed, I think, in the last release we put out. But yeah, let me know if it doesn't work.
Thanks.
But you didn't mean what I was suggesting, which is actually music that you wanted to annotate music.
But that was a good one too, because I have a lot of music in my data, so I might be able to use that too later on.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I have an example here of written data corpus. You can put written data as well and mix it in with, if you have interviews and then you have some newspaper articles, you can put in written And there's no reason why you can't put anything textual in. And given emojis now, then you can also add all sorts of other things.
If you have multiple tracks of audio, you could annotate different tracks. So actually, you could do it with a whole score of recordings. I never thought of that particular use, but sure, media clips would work for that.
Jakob, you going to demo?
Yes, just to illustrate how we the possibility of using 360-degree videos. One of the initial ideas for us to develop a DOTE was actually to handle 360-degree videos. And here you have a 360-degree video in DOTE, and you can pan around that, and you can you can zoom into certain areas of the video. You can also have like multiple videos open at the same time. This is not a 360-degree video, but I could change that inside DOTE. So now it's a 360-degree video, and I can pan around that. And the videos, if I play, they will play right next to each other. So indeed, DOTE and DOTEBase handles 360-degree video. At the moment, a lot of the work will take place in DOTE. For instance, adding the video cues, where we add cinematic effects to the video, and it will pan around and zoom in on certain objects or certain parts of the video, or jump to a different video. That is all taking place in DOTE. But when you play it in DOTEBase, it will also follow the video cues that you have added in DOTE. So yes, we do handle 360-degree videos.
And there's two questions. One about DOTE in relation to other programs. And definitely you can see with Elan, Elan is a score-based system, that what Jakob was demonstrating about the media clips organizer, then that's reproducing some aspects of Elan, but now it's attached to the media, and we think it's a better implementation of a score-based system. But it's not a way of doing transcription. What we mainly support is Jeffersonian and Mondaden script-based systems, and this is just adding a new way of making annotations on your media files. But what DOTE really does well is it has parsers in it which will look for all sorts of errors and then mark those off in different colors and give you good guidance and advice about correcting your transcript. So it's very easy to start up learning how to do Jeffersonian or Mondaden conventions. Mondaden are very tricky and quite difficult, and we spot at least 20 different errors that people can make. So that's something that just is not present in either Transana or Elan. So the NVivo and Atlas TI, those are much more quantitative. They don't really have good transcription engines in them, and they don't have good clip collections. The clip collection is rather similar to Transana, but we think it's better implemented and much more flexible. So the idea of collections is fundamental to doing qualitative analysis, not meaning that you should always do some sort of coding, but just being able to collect things together as you're working on things so you can cluster things. It's just a basic technique. It's not forcing you to do some sort of content analysis or coding strategy, but you could do that if you wish, but you don't have to. It just is a means of organizing. So given the 360 video data, given the rich transcription, parsing and correction of errors or warnings, and now the very sophisticated UI you see in DOTEBase here, we can move things around. We haven't shown you that, but we can change the windows, we can move them around, we can save the layouts as we wish, and also a very powerful search engine. So we think it's novel and distinct in DOTE and DOTEBase. But I think for the second part, maybe Alex, could you respond to about qualitative data and statistical purposes, operationalizing it?
Sure. supposed to export qualitative data and operationalize for statistical purposes. It's pretty broad. Like you've seen us do the tagging and being able to add your own custom fields, and I suppose you could do some analysis on the frequency that those appear in. But I'm not really sure what kind of statistics you want to perform. Could you be more specific?
But in terms of exporting the data, then we have limited possibilities at the moment to export it for another program to use if you wish to operationalize it in a quantitative software tool. Because that's not something we're aiming to do. That would be correct. Yeah.
Yeah, if there's some particular exporting that would be very useful, I'm be eager to hear it. Maybe we can facilitate that.
You get some sense of frequency in the tag manager. So you've got some ideas about how many tags there are across, how many instances there are across media clips or transcript clips, and both in the tag manager. So there is some sort of counting there. You also have that in the collections browser. You have some sort of quantitative measure of how many transcript clips and media clips there are in each of the collections and sub-collections. So you're getting that information quantitatively. But if you want to have pie charts and then graphs and things like that, and showing, if you want to have some sort of statistical analysis of standard deviation and a range of other, statistical measures, then question: what format would that have to be in? What would you? How could that be exported so that could be used in another system?
Yeah. So, as Paul said, just counting really. So, yeah, frequency of tags, frequency of, like, if you have a user field that you define yourself, you can search for those and count those as well, I suppose. But we weren't really gearing it to be representative of quantitative.
Yeah, I think another major thing that is a difference compared to the other tools that is mentioned is also that DOTE and DOTEBase are like born for video, and many of the other tools, they were born for other types of data, texts, numbers, like our Word documents or PDFs. We wanted to create a workflow where you collect your audiovisual data and then you are ready to go. You can start making media clips, you can start developing a transcript, you can put things in the canvas to explore different structures or patterns in your data that are not really present in any of the other tools. So I think that the choice of making the audiovisual the core of the software is also a crucial point where we diverge from many of the other tools. Yeah. So it's.
There's one last question, maybe. Well, you can share not through the cloud. Well, of course, if you export,
you can share your files any way you want.
Yeah, because it's on your file system, and if you export your DOTE projects or DOTE transcripts, or you export a DOTE space, all of those are exportable. They can be imported on the same machine, or you send it to somebody else. It could be through the cloud, it could be by email or some sort of file service which may be supported in your country. We have a file service that allows us to share huge files, many, many gigabytes in Denmark. Then anywhere in a Danish institution, we can do that. Then you just export it and import it. So,
but it's not designed for concurrent use, if that's what you're getting at. I think there is a bit of a back and forth that would have to be done, or a division of labor For instance, if you have a primary researcher who is making most of your media clips in DOTEBase, you could have other researchers perhaps making transcripts in DOTE and sending them to the primary researcher who can collaborate or put them all together into a bigger DOTE space. And once that work is done, they can share that DOTE space back with the whole team. But it's not a collaborative tool in that one researcher adds a clip and the other researcher sees it right away. That would require a level of central database and cloud usage that we weren't comfortable doing at this stage anyway. So at the moment, it's exporting and importing back and forth, or dividing who's doing what, and then importing transcripts made by other people into existing projects.
Yeah, there is the Google Docs solution, which would be you can seemingly simultaneously edit your transcripts and work on things. But of course, that is not secure at all. Using any cloud service like that is not secure. Google obviously scans everything and is probably scanning the edit patterns practices in order to create AI that will be able to do that in the future. So nothing is secure in that sort of format and requires a huge server outlay to do that, which we couldn't guarantee to keep providing. So things are local to your desktop and they can be shared, and then you have to have a who is editing it now, who has exported, who has imported, and you cannot work on it at the same time. That's the standard for distributed working without a central server or a central cloud service.
But
it's too insecure.
We do already see groups of researchers performing this, where they have like a structure and system for that. So it's not an unfamiliar practice for many researchers, and also we have tested solution that could do synchronous collaboration, but they really couldn't. For instance, the Transana cloud version, which is locking out one person, so all the other ones, so only one person can edit at a time. So the collaborative synchronous collaboration is really difficult, but the workflow in connection with DOTE and DOTEBase is really offering a nice way of dealing with the import-export type of work, where we distribute the work task between different people.
I should also point out that on all the import-export menus, there are options. Like if you didn't want to include the media in an export, you can uncheck that to keep the file size smaller if you already have that. Or if you don't want all your checkpoints and backups to be exported, those can be turned off. So there's a bit of a granularity that can be enabled or disabled in terms of what you're sending. And particularly if it's sensitive material, you may not want to send one particular video with a project. You can omit certain things. But there's lots of help guides and YouTubes about some of this that you can look at as well.
Yes. But I think time is up now.
Yeah. Thanks for the great questions.
You can always jump on Discord and we can chat on Discord further if you have more questions.
Yeah.
Yes. And please share with everyone in the world that you now know about DOTE and DOTEBase, and please get in contact if you want to learn more. And of course, we are eager to make a qualitative analysis fun again. So thank you for your participation, and we hope that we can talk at another time.
I would just say that this has been recorded and we will put it online, but it won't have the chat and or the participant list. It will just be us and the video. Though there was, I think Helena did say something, so that might be included, just the saying of something. So just that we were recording, you probably saw that in your Zoom window. So we can put it online as a webinar so others can benefit who couldn't participate today.
Well, now you have to cut it off before you say your name. Anyway, yeah. Thanks a lot for joining us this evening.
Yes, right. Thank you.
Have a good night or morning or afternoon, wherever you are.
Yes.
Thanks. Good night.